Hey there, muses! Welcome back to my channel, or hi, hello, and welcome if this is your first time finding my page. My name is Tyler, also known as T-Mann Tarot across the interwebs, your favorite deck specialist, here giving you the deep dives, the tarot and oracle deck reviews, giving you all the insider information on the cardstock, the quality, the images, everything you might need to know about a specific deck so that you can make the decision on whether or not you would like to purchase it on your own. But before we dive into today's video, please make sure that you subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss another tarot, oracle, or other sort of YouTube deep dive review on my channel. So let's change our camera angles and dive on into it, shall we, friends? So, I am actually very surprised that I have not made this review yet, because we've talked about it briefly in other videos that I have created my own personal Lenormand deck. I know that I've done other reviews of Lenormand, not Norman, who's Normand? Other Lenormand deck reviews, and some of those cards I have had a really hard time connecting with. So I decided to make my own using playing cards, tarot stickers, and the different sticker books that we have. All of these and the Lenormand guidebook, which this is the one that I've started using. It's pretty straightforward, and you can kind of get the basic information from this. All of these things that I have used in creating this will be listed down below in the comment section. Not the comment section, Tyler, the description. So let's kind of zoom in here a little bit more. There we go. So we'll talk about that little pile in just a second. This was so much fun. So the reason why I had such an issue with the other Lenormands that I have is because I didn't necessarily connect with some of the images. So going through the sticker book and looking at the energies of like what each card meant and what it was connected to really helped kind of that process. And it's ever growing. Some of these are collaged together, and it's interesting. I love this collage on this, but I hate collages in tarot, right? That make it make sense. I think it's because my hands did this one, right? Like that as the coffin is so kind of powerful, like kind of a poison bottle, the rabbits carrying the coffin. And some of these stickers in this guidebook were very spot on. Some of them were not, right? Because, right, in Lenormand, there's a mountain, right? But this was the only kind of volcano with clouds that I could find that I actually liked. Now, if I'm going through another sticker book and I find clouds that I do like, I might throw it on over here and cover up the mountain a little bit more, or the volcano. But this idea of a disruption, a cloud disruption, right, really kind of works here. And what each card that's used is important, right? The 7 of Hearts is associated with the tree in Lenormand, but it's also associated with the 7 of Cups. So that's why I chose the playing card that the Lenormand is based on as the card itself, and then put Lenormand details over the cards. But then because I had these tarot journal stickers, I wanted to also include those in the making of the cards, right? And some of them I had to get a little bit creative on because, right, this one I had to get creative on, the scythe, right? There wasn't just in the sticker book a scythe, right? And that's probably not even a real scythe. I think that's a sickle, right? But it's close enough for me that I could use that. Because number 10, right, the scythe is danger, a break. The scythe announces a danger, unless positive cards are nearby to soften it. You can have more details from the surrounding cards. And that's Lenormand. It uses the cards around it. It's really hard to just do a 1 card. You at least need like a 3 card spread to fully kind of get an understanding, right? But the main message is clear away the clutter, right? And most Lenormands have this like scythe and hay or wheat. And I thought, how perfect is this little lady with wheat on her dress and the scythe, right? So clear the way so you can have this energy. So like, it's a stretch, but it works, right? The other one that was a stretch was the whip, right? And that's number 11. So normally it's the whip or rope. Sometimes it changes, but traditionally it is the whip, and I could not find just a whip. So I went with, right, the messages choose to be peaceful in argument, right? Family troubles and a quarrel shown with the whip. Family trouble and quarrels is what I went with. Keywords, argument, vengeance, right? This looks like a quarrel, right? This person has the other person upside down. There is a, like, you know, she's holding a pew-pew, right? And so this whip, while it's not an actual whip, is still giving the energy of what is happening. So, and you'll see on my cards, right, that some of them say negative, some of them don't say anything on them. Some of them, right, like the bouquet says pause, right, to emphasize if it's a positive or a negative card, to kind of help me also understand the surroundings. If it doesn't say anything, it's neutral, right? So it helps me understand, like, hey, what am I looking at? Because I wanted something where I could easily look at the system, because while I have these memorized, right, I don't have them as memorized as I do as the tarot, right? And so I wanted it to have this connection to being a little bit easier and understanding here. I love that I found a stork and a baby, right? Because that kind of emphasizes it. But some of them were so easy to find. Like the dog was the dog, right? This tower, I had to kind of, it was originally this weird kind of tent thing with a bird, but then I found a real tower that I actually had to cut off and customize it to fit the card itself. Garden. So here, right, here is the mountain, right? And so I kind of really chose a lot of different mountain aspects. This one behind it, I really liked, but there was a ship. So I had to cover the ship because there is a ship card in Lenormand. So I had to kind of be strategic here to make sure I did cover everything that wasn't meant to be. And I kept this little, when I don't know if you can see it. Come on, focus. There it is. Look at, there's this little guy right here that I put this mountain, so it looks like he's climbing, right? So really emphasize, like, are you climbing this mountain? What is this obstacle? Now, crossroads, I could have used this as clouds, right? But I did this card before I did the clouds, because this, to me, looks like a crossroads. However, looks like clouds, but I'm more interested in the path we're flying. But that's also why I put this kind of detailed, kind of intricate, like, oh, where are we going? How many crossroads? The candle, emphasizing, like, some of these stickers aren't as clear. Like, some of them were clear, some of them are so you can see the paper behind it. Candles, right? What do you use to light your way in the crossroads? This like telescope, like where are we going? Where are we looking? Little mice. I wish I could find some cheese or something. So if I ever find a sticker of a little piece of cheese, I'm going to put this here. Or I could do any food really, but I really want the mice to have cheese here. But like these ones were so obvious. The heart, like the ring, some of them you don't have to go crazy with when I made these, right? Because they just had such a clear-cut understanding of what the cards were. Yet my man card, it took me a little bit of time to find the right ones. So it's very chaotic, this one. So that's fine. But my woman card, she is, I saw her and I went, oh, she is exactly what I need her to be, you know? And looking in different directions. And I know sometimes the directionality is important for the cards, but I really didn't pay attention too much to that. I am looking forward to, there is a creator, John A. Rice, who did the Mindscapes Tarot. I do know that they are working on a Lenormand, and I think that might be a Lenormand outside of the one that I've made that I really enjoy. Sun, love that. The lily did take me a minute because the flowers in the decorative book didn't really have lilies, so it was hard to kind of find. But some of these were fun to make. Keyhole, when I saw the keyhole with the eye coming through, I was like, that is perfect keys. And then I found these cross keys that I layered on top. Fish, anchor. I want to replace this cross because technically this was in the sea creatures category. It works, but it's not my favorite. I would love to kind of make this change. Now, these were the traditional 36 Lenormand cards that I made. However, there is an expansion. There are expansions to the Lenormand that I have started to create. The only one that I have fully put into my Lenormand that I use regularly is the Quarant card. I made this because I had a client who wanted to talk about two distinct people, but I needed to have something that represented them. So if you want to have a reading and we're talking about other individuals, I will put this into my deck and shuffle it, right? So that we can have distinct other people to talk about. So what I did is I kind of just put decorations here to cover up the playing card because this playing card, what I used, wasn't necessarily important. What was important was the question mark. And I was like, okay, how can I kind of pull this parallel here to the structure of the Lenormand, right? What card in tarot represents the Quarant? And that would be the Fool. So I put the Fool card on the Quarant card that I created. So some of the additional cards there are time, right? And I was like, okay, time, what takes time? Now you might think the Hermit, but there's another card that I put the Hermit on. Time to me is the Hanged Man, right? It takes time to get this enlightenment. It's gonna take time, right? To get the wisdom, to get things, really pulling on the idea that the Hanged Man is hanging around for quite some time. Bridges, I put as Judgment, but I haven't found a sticker of the bridges that I like. Now, the two, you'll see the club here. I'm gonna cover this. This card is just a card that I pulled to make this card. These don't matter, right? Dice, which that was pretty simple, and I put the Wheel of Fortune because I call the Wheel of Fortune a gamble, right? The Mask, I put as the Devil. Now, some of these expansion ones are complete, but I haven't mixed them in because all of them aren't done yet. The Wish or the Well, I put as the Magician, right? What are we wishing for? What are we manifesting? Now, Compass, I put as the Hermit, because the compass, the main point of the compass is direction, right? And the Hermit goes slow and steady. Labyrinth, I chose to put the energy of the Chariot, right? Because how are you moving through the labyrinth, the maze here, right? And then the Magnifying Glass, I chose as Strength, right? Because you kind of have to get your hands in, and a magnifying helps you see. And it really does look like she might be looking into the lion's mouth. So what are we looking into? But yeah, this is my handmade Lenormand deck that I have made. A closer kind of flip through of all of the cards is coming up next. And if you, again, want to make your own, all of the information to make your own is going to be in the description below. Have a lovely day, friends.